CJOB.
Well, it's Cam Poitras and Jim Toth in the flesh. Is that you? You're not, I don't have you wired into the show here from your basement and your...
Greetings, salutations.
I heard you weren't even using power tools in that basement. You were hanging all that drywall with just a screwdriver. Is that true?
Well, Cam, I'll take a great line from the movie Cable Guy when they went to medieval times and they asked for utensils.
Yeah.
And I believe it was Janine Gradopoulos' character, who is the waitress, that said there were no utensils in medieval times, hence there are no utensils at medieval times. To which Matthew Broderick's character responded, there's no utensils, but you have Pepsi? To my response is, I don't know how this DeWalt works, so I'm just going to do it by hand.
It's also not accurate. They had eating knives.
I don't want to get into it.
Everyone
Look,
carried a little knife on them, and then they used that to eat.
I will say this. I'm not handy, never have been.
Neither
to my
am I.
father's chagrin. My brother's a carpenter by trade, now in management, and I was just never... It's funny, it's a Star Trek anniversary. I remember my dad saying, you can't sit in the basement watching Star Trek all the time. You have to learn how to change tires. You have to learn how to do stuff. So then I would go out and I would learn how to do stuff. But it never was my thing. But I actually like it now. Like when it's yours, it's different, right?
Definitely.
When your dad says dig these 4-foot fence post holes when you're 12, digging fence post holes isn't fun.
No.
But if it's your fence, it might be fun. I don't know this. So I'm embracing it, but I'm not very good at it. So nothing's gyprock, but everything else is done and fixed. And then now my spouse's stepfather's coming in next weekend. He's going to show me how to gyprock, and then it's on me. I have a winter to gyprock a basement.
Godspeed.
How hard can it be?
Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method. 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program, which is coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Boston Pizza, where kids eat free all September long. Conditions apply.
I'll tell you this. I did two things other than home renos.
Yeah.
I went to Wash Method.
Yeah.
And I went through there. I took a break. And then I also looked at my son at 4 swinging the hammer. I'm like, you know what? You've been working hard this week. Let's go to BP
Let's go get you a schooner.
Because that $15 lunch, right?
It'll put hair on your chest.
Let's get you a schooner.
Do not. Stop.
Andrew's like,
Just
what are you doing?
Jokes, people.
Can you get him a straw, Andrew?
We got lots to get to here on the show. There's actually quite a bit of news. Morgan Barron and Luke Schenn spoke over the weekend in some informal talks leading into training camp from Hockey for All Center. We'll play some audio from them as well.
Sorry to interject.
No,
again.
go ahead.
This is what I'm happy about. So it wasn't much of a vacation at all, but it was time away. But I'm raring to go here. I've been, I was listening while I was gyprocking. I'd say that I wasn't gyprocking.
I know, yeah.
I was doing everything else. But as I was listening, and then it was a nice little break right before. I like to take holidays in August. I like to get away a little bit because I know that it's go time. And now I was itching the last week. I'm like, it's itching not only to get out of this prison that I'm in, doing time in my own home.
This hellscape that I'm stuck.
But it's go time. There's a lot of good storylines around this training camp for a team that finished first in the regular season. There are some storylines here, and I'm ready and amped up to go for the training camp.
So it's also today's the Monday reheat. So we took some of the best takes from Free for All Friday, scoured social media, people that are commenting on our TikTok videos, on YouTube, text messages that we missed over the course of the week, and particularly on Free for All Friday. So we'll take a look back at some of those takes, and we'll give our thoughts on it as well. And and of course, Morgan Barron and Luke Schenn we'll hear from them before the show is up. Also, there's been a change, Jim. It's no more the Penticton Young Stars Classic. That's gone. Vancouver's now just doing a tournament with the Seattle Kraken with their prospects. And the Winnipeg Jets are also changing things up as well with the 2025 Prospect Challenge, which starts in just a couple of days down at Hockey for All Center. So we'll give you the update on that and who's also on the roster.
What do you make of this? You like this better than the Young Stars Classic?
Yeah, whatever. It's fine. As long as they go out there, they play a couple of games, I think it's good. To give them a little head start on training camp.
I think it's good they changed it up, too. Like, it's the prospects of the Western teams. Who hates it is Dennis Bayak, who lives in the Okanagan and used to go to this tournament every year.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's better for Jets fans. I think Montreal is easier to get to than Penticton. Because if you're going to get to Penticton, there's no direct flights as far as I'm concerned. Because I used to have to fly all the way to Calgary, then to Kelowna, then you're going to and then drive to Penticton. So I think there's a lot of Jets fans who would love to go in and catch a couple games. Montreal, there's direct flights. Montreal is Montreal.
Montreal, yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is actually a better for Winnipeg Jets fans, but and people who want to go there and take in a couple of games. And
what is it called again? This thing?
It's called the 2025 Prospect Showdown. And the Leafs are there, the Sens are there, and the Habs, of course, are hosting it. But the Jets don't play the Leafs; they only play the Habs prospects as well as Ottawa's prospects. So I'll give you the rundown on some of the highlights from the roster into the next segment. But first, let's get through a couple of news items here, Jim. The New York Rangers have sent out their hockey operations staff update. Ryan Martin is the associate general manager and general manager of their AHL affiliate, the Hartford Wolfpack. Jim Sullivan is the assistant general manager. Ryan Clough, did you see this? He was just named the assistant general manager one day after resigning from the same role with the San Jose Sharks. Resigns that role. Tells Greer in San Jose, I just can't do this anymore. Gets a job with the Rangers.
I can't do this anymore.
It's like, this is a long, arduous process.
This is killing me. I can't do it.
So there's that. And Blake Wheeler has been named the hockey operations advisor for the New York Rangers. So good for Blake.
He told us in the summer when he joined us that there would be when he had time with his kids.
Yeah.
He's coaching all three kids. But what is hockey ops? What is the title?
Hockey operations advisor.
So he's going to, it's basically freelance, come in when you can or when we need you and blah, blah, blah. And then you can still coach your kids. That was interesting, right? When he said, when it's time. So are they living in New York then? Or he's probably going to fly in and out?
Well,
that's what advisors do.
I believe they lived in Connecticut. I believe they're living in Connecticut, which is sort of the New York area. So that's my belief, is that Wheeler and his family are living there. I don't have.
So that's a commute.
It's just like, So
Wayne Flaherty, I think, commuted for a while here from Vancouver and stuff. So it's an advisory role. Yeah. Scott Niedermayer does it with the Anaheim Ducks. I know that. Speaking of Penticton.
Yeah.
I believe he lives there with his family, and his son played for the V's, and he built a barn and put a rink in it.
And now the V's are in the Dub.
Doug Waite and all those guys, his kids all played together and summered there, and now all those guys are in the Dub. And I mean, that was a matter of time. That's going to be a great hockey market venue.
Oh, big time. Oh, yeah.
But so he's going to advise and fly in and out. But people might be wondering about this. I think it's because it's the proximity. Mm-hmm. But there will come a time. Would it surprise you if Blake Wheeler's in this organization? No,
it wouldn't. I think, he told us he's coaching, he's got his kids in hockey, there's stability. I mean, he was talking about some of his older kid is getting up there. I think he's a teenager. Did he say that? Louis is a teenager now?
Louis, yeah.
Yeah, he's a teenager now. So, there needs to be some time for stability. If he does get a job like that with Winnipeg, I mean, likely to have to relocate once again back here. So I just think that this is the best option for Blake and his family right now. And I honestly believe that that's his focus. I mean, based on the conversation we've had with him, he was on Winnipeg Sports Talk and a great conversation there with Huss. And I took a listen in there, and I honestly, I think that's his main focus right now. He's got his, that's right. So he's got his hands back in hockey. He's in hockey. That's where he wants to be. And, I mean, I just think that's where I'm at with Blake. But I wouldn't. Does he eventually take a job with True North? I don't think it's ruled out. I don't think it's something that's been ruled out. I don't think that there's bad blood there. I don't believe that. I don't. I think there's been a lot of mending.
I agree with you. So it's interesting though. Like, it's more about family and being able to commute from where you live to proximity and all that. But we're heading into the 15th season of the Winnipeg Jets. And we're now starting to see some of this. Andrew Ladd joined you again next week to talk about his charities. Last week, I should say, Rick Bonus was on. Great stuff. I was listening, but we're at that time where see what these guys do, right?
Yeah.
And the reason it always fascinates me, Cam, is Blake Wheeler doesn't need to work another day in his life. And I don't think Andrew Ladd has to either.
No, I don't think so.
But they want to, right? Like when Andrew Ladd joined us the first time this offseason, he's busier now than when he played. And I know that sounds ridiculous because you're not going to be that busy when you're playing in the National Hockey League, but you have your charities and things like that. It's interesting who takes this on and who doesn't, right? Like Mark Stewart's an assistant coach and a very good one in the Edmonton Oilers organization, how this alumni goes. But Blake Wheeler was with the Rangers for one season, and they've welcomed him into the front office.
Yeah.
I think that speaks a little to the distance traveled with Blake Wheeler.
Yeah, and Wheeler wants to win. Like
whatever the issues were, and there were issues with Blake Wheeler, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But whatever those issues are, it's like even Andrew Ladd, right? When he joined us the first time, he said, looking back, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that. When you're in it, it's different. But it seems to be there's been a lot of growth and maturity from a lot of ex-Jets players that, have now gone into, you get out of that bubble of being the player focused 24/7.
Yeah.
And you evolve and you mature.
I don't think Wheeler would be making this move if it was like Ryan Close saying, "Oh, see you, San Jose." I think if the Rangers were in the position that the Sharks are right now, I don't think he would join on. I don't think so. I think he
well, that's what I mean. If
win.
Winnipeg said anything, and I don't know that they did or would, because I think they're set, right? They're pretty. Nothing has changed in the front office this past off season, and there wasn't a need to. But it's if there ever was a time like it, and there's a time coming, right? We had that text before I left for some vacation time that said, what is the next move for Chevy? And Chevy's in his early 60s, I believe, or he'll have that job as long as he wants it. But there will come a time that, it'll have to maybe in the next 4 to 5 years bring on some people and start the transition.
Yeah. That's for sure. Another little piece of news before we take a break here, and we'll come back and I'll tell you the roster of the Prospect Showdown coming up. They're going to be at Hockey for All Center starting on Wednesday. I'll give you some more details on that as well if you want to go take that in. Dave Manouk from Illegal Curve put this out. Jets captain Adam Lowry working out with JP Vigier, friend of the show, as he continues to rehab from off-season hip surgery. And go check out the video. Go to IC Dave, at IC Dave. To check out that video that he posted up there. And Lowry, honestly, gingerly, no doubt about that, but he's moving pretty well. I mean, it seems to be positive to me. So I think there's a good trajectory for when Adam Lowry is going to return. I'm not going to sit here and play doctor, like, oh, it's here, it's there. But to me, it seems like things are moving in the right direction very well. So,
well, we talked about that a bit in the podcast. I don't know anything about this injury.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen of him skating, I don't know if it's going to be 3 more months. But I don't know this.
Let's take a break. Let's come back on the other side after 12:30 news. We'll hear from Morgan Barron and Luke Schenn. What do they have to say about Jonathan Taves and some of the other newcomers and Barron playing at center? Preparing to do a lot more of that. We'll hear from both of them as the show goes on. Don't go anywhere.
Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Call the Boston Pizza Jets at Noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Boston Pizza, kids eat free all September long at Boston Pizza. Dine in only. See store for details. Number 1 caller will be awarded a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza coming up on Friday. So the Winnipeg Jets Hockey Club announced their roster for the 2025 Prospect Showdown. It's taking place in Montreal. But the group that will travel will practice Hockey for All Center on Wednesday at noon and again on Thursday at 10:30 before departing. The Jets will play Montreal on Saturday the 13th at 6, Ottawa on Sunday the 14th, also at 6. Fans can stream the Jets Prospect Showdown games live on winnipegjets.com. The roster includes highlights like Dom DiVincentis, Elias Solomonson, Braden Yeager, Kevin He, Colby Barlow, Fabian Wagner, Jacob Julian, Kieran Walden, as well as Nikita Chibrikov, which is a little bit of a surprise, but after he was rehabbing that season-ending lower body injury that took him out in January, not a surprise that he's going to try and get as much competition under his belt as he can leading into training camp.
More hockey, the better for Chibrikov. And I should correct myself. Kevin Cheveldayoff's 55. There's a lot of runway left on that.
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere anytime soon. Yeah. It's like you, Jim Toth, right?
I got nowhere to go, though. Kevin could go many places. Got a bright future.
We'll be right back. What does Morgan Barron think about taking on more center roles coming up for this NHL season for the Jets? Well, we'll hear from him when we come back. Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line will win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program, which is coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Boston Pizza, where kids eat free all September long. Pizza. Conditions apply. So there's been some informal skates, nothing formal. going on at Hockey for All Center. Jonathan Taves has been out there. We got a text message from Nick. Nick from DQ says, fellas,
Nicky.
DQ Nick here. I just watched Jets practice, high tempo practice. Taves look good. The story is true. He talks to nobody on the ice while at practice. He's all business and focused. And some of the other guys taking part in some informal skates, Morgan Barron and Luke Schenn. And Morgan Barron says he hasn't met Jonathan Taves yet as of speaking. I mean, that was on Friday afternoon, so maybe they've talked to now. But as of the this conversation, he says he's excited to get to know from him and learn from him as he prepares to play more at center.
Kind of got my feet wet doing it a little bit there at the end of last year, and I think it's obviously an adjustment and will continue to be. But obviously work on some of those things over the summer and try to prepare yourself the best you can. So just excited to be back out there playing again.
So how did you tailor maybe your training in the summer a little bit more to that where you're practicing?
Yeah, I think face-offs is the obvious thing, right? Like, guys have been doing it in this league for 10, 15 years. And obviously I've done it throughout my career, but spending a little bit more time doing that. And I think that's the big thing. Obviously the defensive stuff too, right? You're, as much as you kind of share responsibility in the defensive zone, more often than not, it does seem to be that centerman who's stuck playing lower in the zone. So little things like that, I continue to work on them through camp and through video and stuff with the coaches. But for the next kind of week and a half, I feel like it's mostly just catching up with the guys and kind of feeling good on the ice and preparing for camp.
So, Jim, are you expecting the center depth to be fourth line, Morgan Barron, third line, Vladislav Nemestikov, second line, Jonathan Taves, first line, Mark Scheifele?
Yes.
In the center to start things off?
Well, yeah. I mean, David Gustafson's in there too, right?
Yeah.
And I think David Gustafson, when he's healthy, plays well. I like his game, and especially in the bottom six there. But yeah, I would think that Morgan Barron has done enough to earn a center position and a center look. Now, the thing is he can play wing.
Yeah.
I think Gustafson's played some wing, but I don't think he's better off down the middle. But I like Morgan Barron at center. I liked what I've seen from him. And if he's worked on it all summer, it also tells me that he was been told that, like, we like you there in the exit meeting and stuff like that.
That's what I'm taking away from that. So if there's the expectation is this is what he was working on, there's going to say, hey, there's a spot for you right now as we deal with, we don't know how long it's going to take Adam Lowry to get back here, but we want you to carry the load at center for at least the time being.
He can move too, right? Like for a guy that size, he can move up and down the ice. So I like the fact that he could be down the middle there.
Luke Schenn also spoke about the newcomers, including Jonathan Taves, Tanner Pearson, and, as he says, Gus Nyquist.
Taves coming in, got the chance to skate with him yesterday, and he looks incredible and still got it for sure, in my opinion. And it's going to be exciting and for everyone around here in Winnipeg to get the chance to watch him again. And then a couple of familiar faces. Played with Tanner Pearson in Vancouver and in LA, so another familiar guy. And then Gus Nyquist too in Nashville. So it's been obviously I think a positive offseason for the organization here, and it's going to be great to get everyone back together here. And
I mean, you mentioned Jonathan Taves. That winning pedigree, what can he bring to this team off the ice in addition to what he's going to bring on it?
So much more. I don't even know how you put it into words. I mean, just his presence alone, he really probably didn't have to say a word the entire year. Just his presence, him walking around and being here would be enough. But when you got 3 cups and the resume he has in terms of obviously being a captain for so long in the league, being a winner, playing on Hockey Canada events, international, you name it. I mean, he's got the resume that you dream of as a kid for sure. And for him to come back at everything he's gone through, personally and give it a go here in his hometown, I think it's going to be such a positive for obviously every player in this room and our organization, but just the city of Winnipeg as a whole. So I was just as excited as probably every fan in here when I saw the signing.
That's Luke Schenn there, defenseman for the Winnipeg Jets. Jonathan Taves is going to dominate the conversation this preseason. So much so that a lot of the show is going to be focused on how he does, what he's up to, where his game's at. Is it being underhyped? Is this getting enough nationwide attention?
This is a bigger national story than I think locally, and it's a big local story. Yeah. I think what was lost on the day he signed, and the amount of national media that were here, and then the fallout since then. The number one thing I get asked about with the Jets, and I'm thinking about who's going to fill Ehlers' spot.
Yeah.
Can Hellebuck play like this? How's the defense going to, 9 sign D-men? Who's going to be gone? That kind of storylines. The number one thing I'm asked about outside of the market is Jonathan Taves.
Yeah.
Have you seen Taves skate yet?
Without
Have you
a
seen?
doubt.
Does he look good? Have you been out there yet? And so I forget that, right? Like, this is, if you take out Winnipeg and just say 3-time champion in any sport comes back from a health issue after 2 seasons off, make it the NFL, make it the NBA, make it Major League Baseball, and makes a comeback with his hometown team. That's a story you make movies about, if it goes well. So I think that's been lost on a little bit in this, that this is a great feel-good story that Jonathan Taves himself admitted at one point he didn't think he could play again, and then secondly to do it in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Now, I have a source that I trust wholeheartedly, and I don't want to go too far down here, but the humbleness of Jonathan Taves in doing this, to the tune of, do you think it'll be okay with the guys in the room? Do you think this? Every guy in the room is like half of these guys, like Sandberg, and grew up watching him and idolizing him.
Yeah.
And then the other guys are like, I heard he's like, to the point where some players had to call him and go, do not worry about that.
Yeah.
Like, he was talking to management about, like, is this going to be okay in the room? I don't want to disrupt anything. I don't want to be a distraction, because it's a distraction, right?
Well, it is.
And to the point where some of the players went out of their way to call him and go, look, just relax. Like, we're more than okay with this.
There's good distractions and bad distractions. This is a good distraction.
It is, and it's a story, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is that this is why I believe he'll be okay, is because if this goes awry, it'll be a negative distraction. But I don't think he would be doing this. I was told that he got on the ice and tried it and was like, this is really fast right now. I think it was Arizona he was skating.
Yeah.
And some college kids, and he's like, wow, this is fast. And then I was told he went to, or I heard he went to Minnesota, and he said, let me get on the ice this summer with some NHL guys. And then he did that for a couple of weeks and then made a call and said, I can do this. So I think that he, if he didn't believe now believe is a different thing. I don't know a lot of pro athletes that don't, quote, believe they can still do it when they can't.
Yeah.
But believing and doing it is two different things when it's Jonathan Taves. Cam, this is a first-time Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
This is, to me, when I was watching A Football Life on Troy Aikman, I was blown away. I almost fell off the couch. This was a couple of years ago when he's doing a broadcast and it's behind the scenes. They're warming up and he looks at his play-by-play guy, who wasn't Joe Buck at the time, and said, did I ever tell you the time I was going to play for the Miami Dolphins? And the whole crew that was about to do the pre-tape of the broadcast looked at him and go, what? And he's like, yeah, well, when so-and-so left Dallas and went to Miami, he called me and he said, I spent all offseason. It was Wanstead, I think. And I'm like, this is what this is parallel. Well, could you imagine what happened is 2 weeks before training camp, they fired the coach. And that was the coach that was bringing Troy Aikman out of retirement. He goes, because Troy Aikman only retired because he didn't like Barry Switzer and the direction of the team and how he had to hold players accountable and Barry didn't do it. So he's like, I'm getting out of here and I'm not going to play for another team ever. But if you look at Troy Aikman now, he's still in shape. But it blew my mind. And I thought, this is what it's like, right? Jonathan Taves is not going to play for the Blackhawks anymore. He's going to come here. And the Blackhawks, make no doubt about it, are going to put up a statue of him eventually.
Oh, without a doubt.
And he's now here in Winnipeg. And so I think that's lost a little bit.
So let's get to some of the reheats from some of the hot takes that we got. This one comes from YouTube. And the question was, does Taves retire as a Blackhawk? And this messenger,
of course, he does.
To Lil I don't know how to say it, but it says disagree. Because I said he retires as a Blackhawk for sure. This messenger said, disagree. Jonathan Taves is not a Blackhawk anymore. Once a bridge is burned, you don't go back across it or you wind up living in the past.
Jonathan Taves could come here this year and win a Stanley Cup. He could come back next year and win another Stanley Cup. He'll then be 40 and hang it up. He's going to retire a Chicago Blackhawk.
Well, did Ray Bourque retire as a Bruin or did he retire as an Avalanche?
Well, and that's what I mean.
But he retired as a Bruin. Like it was not even a question.
The Jets could win back-to-back Stanley Cups, and Jonathan Taves is not going to retire.
No.
He's going to, He might retire from the Jets. I think that's going to happen. But
Yeah.
when he goes into the Hall of Fame and everything else, it's a Chicago Blackhawk.
End of
and that's
story.
what he should do.
End of story. I mean, if you're a Blackhawks fan, how would you feel if Taves said, I'm going into the Hall as a Jet? That's outrageous.
Yeah.
Outrageous. It's not going to happen. The Nagy on the Nagy 9 on YouTube says the question was, where will Taves go this season? The message is, I predict Jonathan Taves will play 2 seasons and will provide the Jets with a template they need to win a cup, possibly even winning one. He will then be groomed to be an assistant GM, eventually replacing Chevy. This is a hot take. That timeline will be around 5 years from now when Chevy is ready to call it a day.
Everybody's really waiting to replace Chevy.
Yeah. Well, he's almost 70 years old now.
On Jets at noon, he is. In real life, he's only 55.
Yes, yeah.
I don't think I forget where Mark Chipman did the interview, and I always like to credit people, so forgive me, but he said like Chevy's got a job for life as long as he wants it. Mm-hmm. I'm not in the business of at my age looking for a new GM and wanting to do the interview process and everything else, and he's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, not much complaints.
The idea that he needs to go over longevity is lost on me.
Just because somebody's been there for so long.
Yeah. I mean, everything comes to an end, and it will end for Kevin Cheveldayoff eventually.
Sports is the only industry that says things like that. If you have a successful company and you have a great CEO and he's been steering the ship through troubled waters, you don't say, you know what, he's been doing a pretty adequate job. They won the President's Trophy. They won a playoff round. Did they fulfill everything they wanted to fill last year? No. Did they reach all their goals? No. But man, he's been around a little bit too long.
Whenever I hear he's missed the past couple of years on draft picks, okay, but what's the averages?
Yeah,
like it's.
Ask the Calgary Flames how they've done on the drafting over the last.
People also forget this, Cam, but when they lost that first playoff time, they made the playoffs to the Anaheim Ducks. That's when the game started changing. Mm-hmm. That's when it was big physical, survive the battles. Playoff hockey. The Jets to a game of speed,
and the Jets
with Paul Maurice did that move.
Mm-hmm. And the Jets were only trailing for how much of that series? They got swept, but it was not really much of a sweep.
What I'm saying is Kevin Cheveldayoff is on the cusp, right? Like he follows the league, he sees how the game changes. People will text in and go, "Well, he's got Logan Stanley, blah 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 blah," but he's also got Josh Morrissey, and he's also got Neil Pionk, and he's also got like. I'm not saying he's perfect. He's not. And I'm not saying he's not going to make some mistakes over the next couple of seasons.
Yeah.
But he's on the cusp. He's one of the guys that sticks around and doesn't keep trying to beat his head against the wall with the same stuff and everything like that. Plus, he's a guy that needs to use the same stuff all the time because his options are limited.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about that. 204-780-6868, 204-780-6868. Miss your chance. Get your thoughts on the show today. Call the Boston Pizza Jets at noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Boston Pizza. Kids eat free all September long at Boston Pizza. Dine and only. See store for details. Let's come back. On the other side, Keith the Plumber has a hot take. And I want to get your opinion on there, Jim Toth. And we'll give away the VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method. Don't go anywhere.
By the way, I love plumbers. They're awesome.
They are good.
On 680 CJOB.
Well, congratulations, Nick from DQ, for your text message about Taves at camp. You get yourself a VIP car wash from my good friends at Wash Method. And you wanted to read this one. This one's from Peter about Luke Schenn.
Yeah.
Who's at the Bomber game.
Yeah.
Decked out in rider gear. So Pete says, "Hey guys, it's Pete. Love the show. I saw Schenn at the Banjo Bowl and he was decked out in rider gear. I threw up a little bit in my mouth." Yes, I know he's from Saskatoon. He's from Saskatchewan. He's allowed. Okay, you can't like it, but
oh, that's great. I mean, look, you're never gonna. It doesn't matter where you live or who you're never gonna. Same with a Bomber fan, but you're never gonna persuade a Rider fan.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Keith the Plumber texts the show and says, "Me and coworkers listen every day on lunch break." Well, thanks for listening, Keith. Hope you're listening right now. Rule change idea to get the people talking. The guys in the press box are eligible to enter the game between periods to replace an injured player. Kind of like a backup goalie situation.
I heard this before. I don't mind it if you could do one player.
Or like a substitute, too. It's like, hey, the game's real rough. You have somebody like Logan Stanley up in the press box. You can pull him out for the second and third period.
Like one position.
Yeah.
So you have your healthy scratches, and if it's 2 D-men and 3 forwards, you designate one of them in case somebody gets injured, so that if 10 minutes into the game, somebody gets a puck in the face and is done for the night, or a knee or something.
You're on one sub. You're on one
as fast
change.
as they can get on the bench, changed, and
I like it actually.
I like it too.
I like the idea. I'd
So
even
if
go
Stanley
two.
and somebody are scratched.
Yeah.
It's like if one of your D-men go down, whether it's in the first, second, or third period, the minute they can get dressed and on the ice, they can join the game.
If you would go more than one, you'd have to like boost the amount of people in the game on like the roster, the 23-man roster. If you were going to be like two subs, it would have to be like 25 or 26. Yeah, and it would have to be for specific reasons.
You wouldn't be in the press box. You would be in gear and you'd be stretching the whole game. And that's why like the health risk of bringing a guy in to the 9-minute mark of the third period when he's been sitting for an hour and a half, 2 hours, that the health risk of that, I don't think the PA or the league would sign off on. Mm-hmm. But I like the idea. I think it's great. Why play with 5 or 4 defensemen if you got – and I would just do one. Like if you lose 2 D-men, you can't dress another one. But you have one designated D and one designated forward, and they get the tap if somebody goes down and can't return.
204-780-6868. Thanks for texting Jim Toth. He's back in the saddle. We'll be back together again tomorrow on Tuesday.
Band is back together.
Thank you very much to Braden Wasco for producing the show. That's it for me. I'm
Islands
back
in the
same
stream.
time tomorrow. See ya.